When you're doing your own nails and you want to get them to be stilettos, it's very hard to file the left hand or the right hand depending on which hand you usually use. Well, for me, as a nail tech and being my first customer, what I like to do is to cut the nail into whatever shape I want it to be first before I stick them onto my own nail. So I would of course cut the nail in and shape it up before I stick it on. Let's also say that you're trying to file your right hand with your left hand and you're right-handed. Come on, no, it's very hard. What I like to do is to keep the hand that's not very you know, dexterous, immobile. Like I don't move the left hand. I won't move the left hand, and I'll just move the thumb finger on the right hand. So instead of trying to move this back and forth, I'll move my finger that I know how to control back and forth. So I'll do this instead. I'll just keep this hand still flat on the surface, and I'll just move my thumb back and forth instead of trying to control the hand I cannot control. You understand? So I'm just giving you some little tips and tricks of the trade. You don't know how to use your right hand, that's okay. Keep the hand you do not know how to use still, and just move the hand you know how to use. Easy, right? Let's say you've put acrylic on your left hand because you're right-handed, then you put it on fine, okay? You put it on nice and thin, but now you gotta get the same look with your right hand. How do you do this? Well, one trick I would like to say, because sometimes it's very hard to control the size of your balls with your left hand because you're doing like this and you're trying to hold it and you're trying to position yourself, and then you can't control the size of your balls with your left hand if you're not a pro. But I like to pick up the balls with my right hand and then exchange it into my left hand and apply the balls where I need them to go, okay? So that's how I do that. I could put on polish or primer or whatever with my left hand just fine, okay? So I put it on with my left hand. But when it comes to picking up balls, I will pick up the ball with my right hand, exchange the brush onto my left hand, and then I will place the balls and pat and just do the same. But this comes with practice. I mean, I've been doing this for years, so I know how to do my own nails by now. So I place and pat. I would pat more than dragging, so I would do a lot of this if I were doing it for the first time. And I would still try to clean up my edges. I find holding the brush close to the bristles gives you the most control when you're using your opposite hand, you know, the hand that you're not ambidextrous. So that's how I would suggest you do it. And of course, you could, if you need another ball for the tip, go ahead and take up another one with the right hand and pat and smooth it out the way you need it to be done. Let's say you're using a hand file to file the edges of your nails or whatever. Instead of moving the hand you can't move, just move the hand that you can control back and forth on the nail. Instead of moving the one that you can't control, you're moving the one that you can control back and forth so you can get your desired shape. You're gonna have nails that look crooked as a motherfucker, you know, if you don't do that. Even when you're filing the top of the nail, it's better to move the one you can control. Like you just put the file, you hold the file in one position and just go back and forth in a round motion over the nail, and you should be able to get the top filed. I have to have this hand, the other hand, grounded, okay? So whatever color I'm going to use, but I have to have this hand grounded in some way. So this hand has to be able to rest on this table when I'm holding this brush, and this hand has to be up on something or flat on the table. Alright, so it's best for me to either do it flat on the table or propped up on something. That's how it works best for me when I'm painting. So I can get a stable thing. So the best thing to do is to make sure that your polish is smooth first. You want to roll it or something. Rolling your polishes helps to keep the bubbles out. You wouldn't want to shake it too much unless you mix something inside of it, like you put some polish thinner, but sometimes polish thinner starts to clump up nail stuff. I like to keep the brush kind of full when I'm using my other hand because I like to glide. So I'll hold it and I'll just glide. I still like to move my own finger, the finger that's movable instead of the one that is not so movable. And it's always good to keep some kind of a tool around close by so that if you make a mistake, you can always clean up the edges or whatever. So I kind of pulled up a little bit here in the top and I can wipe it out, and basically, yeah, that's how I like to polish my nails. So I'll still keep the hand that's not good at doing anything stable, and I'll move the hand that is good at moving. So I just move this one back and forth. See? Easy. It's not hard. You don't have to move this one. You just rest that on the table and you just like move the other ones, right? Easy.